Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give it up for the legends of horror, Dave Sheridan and Felissa. Come on, get out of here. Now,
it's the first minute I gotta stand at.
Now, I do apologize. I didn't set the room up, but if we sit, the people in the back cannot see us.
I love this.
I'm sorry.
I love standing during my panel.
Did we wake you up?
If you're interested in a timeshare after this, we're here to talk about real estate for no money down.
Yes. Because we love Wisconsin. 77 Friday, a snowstorm on Saturday.
There you go. Get it on the ground level. Get it cheap right now, and it'll stay that way forever.
I love
Miss Felissa Rose.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you all for being here.
The biggest cheerleader of horror conventions on the planet.
I do love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. In ring number 1.
And then there's Dave. There we go.
I do cheerleading, but I'm a flyer, so.
Do you know what your number of credits is on IMDb today? This includes projects in the works.
Today?
Yeah.
I don't
Acting.
know because I know that I'm actually doing like 4 films in April and 5 in May.
They're on there
so
pending.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm counting the pro. I'm counting it.
Wow, okay.
I'm thinking it's like 183.
You're close.
189.
Yeah, because you're looking.
Well, I couldn't get to my reading glasses.
He's
So I'm like,
189, the most of anyone else at this convention.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that. Come on, give it up.
I do love horror movies.
Now, Dave Sheridan.
Yes.
Do you know your number?
No.
No?
78?
It's close to 100, I think.
99.
There you go.
99. Look at that.
That's all right.
We know who's
Now,
making the
what's
money.
my ratio? What's the ratio of good movies?
I basically put Kim
Hold on.
out with
Yes!
Come on. It's a little...
I've done 40 films with you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, yeah.
We've done 40 projects together.
Isn't that crazy? No, you just, but I see you at a lot of conventions, and you seem like you like brother sister. You just have a really good time, really good like friendship. So, I mean, because you're always riding each other, and you've ended up on a lot of the same projects. You do a lot of the same cons. So I guess that over time it must just become really fun, right?
Oh yeah.
To be with the
I
same
mean, we are
people.
best friends.
We're going to Scotland.
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah,
Scotland.
like
You know who we're
Glasgow or
going with?
Edinburgh?
Glasgow.
James
But we're
and
gonna go to-
Denise,
We're going to go to
Dead Meat.
Edinburgh since we're staying.
Do you know Dead Meat?
Yeah.
Kill Count?
He'll be with
We're
us.
going to Scotland with him. I can't wait to stop him. It's going to be so fun. He's going to be like, get the restraining order.
So we talked. We talked a little bit about who you are, because they're all here because they already know who you are. We talked about obviously Sleepaway Camp. We talked about Scary
did?
Movie. I did.
To them?
Yeah, you were here. Yeah, it was a whole 30-minute thing. Don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No. So we touched on why we're all here, but Angela, right? So let's go back in time.
Okay.
How did that? What do you remember of how that came together and what it was like being young? And were you auditioning and knowing that this is what you were doing, or was it just like your mom was like, "Here, you're in a movie"?
A little bit of all of that. I mean, I love people, so I loved singing and dancing. And like when my relatives would come over, I would love to perform for them. So naturally, my mom was like, "Oh, let's get her into classes." And then I met this New York manager, which I butcher her like, "Anyway, we hear you want to be an actor." Fantastic. And she was like, "I have an audition for you."
Wait, that's not your mom?
My mom is like this.
Mom smokes with
Felissa, do good when you perform. I'm like, okay.
Make mommy money.
Make mommy money. I'm like, I'm singing and dancing. And then the first audition they had for me, I was 12 years old, and I went into a building in New York, and there was this really sweet, kind man there, and his name was Robert Hiltzik, and he's the writer-director of Sleepaway Camp. And we met, and as soon as we met, I knew I was wearing blue overalls, and I was like, "It's so nice to meet you." And we just connected. It was like just a really beautiful friendship. And I walked out and I said, "I really think I got it." My mom was like, "Settle down, little child."
We got 6 more auditions today.
We did. I was like, "All like, shut up! My mom's the sweetest person.
Sew these 3 dresses! Sorry, I'll stop.
Horrible. No, it's fun, right? Everybody do it, it's fun. And then they did call and they said, you got the part. And it was my first movie, and it was like the greatest experience ever. I was the only one on set who knew the ending. The other castmates and crew did not know. And the very last night of filming, you know, has anyone not seen Sleepaway Camp? I love you, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a dick and spoil the But hang on!
Here's your dollar for saying that.
And that's, yeah, and it was so fun.
That's awesome. So, for you, you kind of got started doing some improv in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Second City?
Yeah, Second City.
So how did, so I know a lot of your beginning was dealing with improv, and so how did that segue into some of your bigger roles, or even just landing Doofy, the process to get there for you?
Well, Doofy was a character named Chip that I was doing at the Second City on stage, and then I made a couple shorts with him. One was at the Museum of Natural History where he was getting lost, and I climbed into the llama. There was like these llamas. I'm like, I like llamas, and everything. You have to come out of there. I tried to get into the caveman one, the early man one, but it was glass. So I was like, oh, I can go in with these llamas. So I crawled into the llama. I like llamas. And they're like, you gotta come out. Because the early Chip had an uncle. I don't even know if he had a name, and it was another actor from Second City, Frank, who was on Buzzkill with me. And,
Woo! Buzzkill!
Yeah. And Frank would always be like, Chip, get out of the llamas. Chip, get out of the llamas. But I would never listen to him. And so like people like the security, other people were like, well, he's not going in and getting him. Like, so, you know, but they were just as like non-aggressive with it. You know, like they were like, yeah, come on out. Like, yeah, you don't want to disturb Chip. Don't get too close to him. Because they were like, we don't want to upset the kid.
Was he a little bit like Chip?
A little bit, because that's what freaked everyone out. Like, it was like, who are these two guys? Because really, there was Chip and his uncle were the 2 short films. So, and then Miramax saw those, and they were already like looking for a Doofy, and they said, I think that's our Doofy. So they called me.
So I mean, who has seen Doofy and Scary Movie? Come on. I just my favorite line. It's so, of course it's so stupid, but you know the whole like ass. You know the whole. It's just I don't know what about that moment just makes you laugh hard.
Oh, my ass. My ass.
It's just perfect. It's just the timing is great. Is brilliant.
I think what would have been a little harsher if I said your ass.
There's still time. So doing Scary Movie, the Wayans brothers.
Yes.
What kind of wild universe was that like? Because they're pretty out there.
Oh yeah, they're always on, so that everyone else has to always be on, and you know they just let you do. Like Keenan was the first one, and Rob Zombie was very similar. Like they're directors that hire you for you to do your job.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
Adam
mean?
Green is the same.
Adam the same way, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they hire a costume designer or a set director or whatever, they don't have like no, it has to be like this. They're like, no, I hired you because you're good at what you do, and I want the most creativity out of you. So go do it, and you go do it, and you go do it, and they just kind of wrangle, you know. So
Take advantage of what they've got and put it in the
exactly,
right place.
yeah.
Right?
They don't even
So-
show up. They don't even show up for work.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, once they set it and forget it, go make it.
So there's a Scary Movie 6 coming
Yes.
up,
Yeah.
and I hear them. Is that something?
I will be.
No
in it.
comment.
Yeah.
No comment. Gail swallows 2. Gail regurgitates. The sequel.
Gail gags.
Yeah. The Rod Stewart story.
Oh my God.
Too soon.
Oh, sir! How dare you?
Yeah, there's
I have to go.
yeah.
I cannot do it.
Yeah.
So
There's
after
something right here. You got something.
Fuck off.
all right, I want my dollar back.
For the kids, it's like,
So
that was just genuine relationship.
You know, this is a max occupancy of 60. We really should take a head count.
So after Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, oh yes. Hang on.
Well, actually, I have one more question about
Yeah.
before we move on from
Uh-huh.
that. So, most of us know the final season. No. But I need you to go home and watch it tonight. Right, before, yeah.
It's on Tubi.
Yeah. We all know that it's been kept a really great secret who did the ending, and I'm not gonna ask you who it is. I'm not gonna try to do, but
It's Dave Sheridan.
well, there you go. Yeah. Is it
The water was cold.
is it anyone? So what's your excuse today? No. So.
Snow.
So, I know the stories about how they acquired someone and talked to them. Is it someone that you knew or know now still that you talk to at all?
Could you imagine? I'm like, yeah, it's my buddy Lou. I'm like, Lou, how's your penis?
What's up? How's it going?
No, they hired an actor who, well, he wasn't an actor actually.
He was a crew member, right?
No, he was a guy at
Local.
Albany State.
Yeah.
They were driving in their car around upstate New York, rolling the window down. I'm not even kidding. 1982. Hey, kid. They would go to the
They
college.
couldn't find anyone to do it, basically.
Yeah, they couldn't find anyone. They were like, we got $250. Wanna wear nothing and wear a fake little girl mask and stand.
Surprise!
And one kid was like, sure, $250 sounds great. And then fast forward to like a week later, the last night of shooting, they're shaving his body. Just put yourself in this guy's everything. He has to wear a little girl mask. I had a small face, so he had to like smush his face into the mask. He's completely shaved, nude.
Well, he's not completely shaved. It was the 80s.
Yeah. Want to see?
It was the 80s.
It was, yeah, 1982, and then he drank a bottle of Jack Daniels and cried. It was not a good night for
They
him.
leave out that part, the crying.
Yeah,
Did he drink a
yeah.
little
But I
bit?
mean,
Didn't
he was
drink
like
before?
nervous.
Wasn't he drinking before he
They were. It was
I'm sure.
1982. Everybody was drinking.
Yeah.
You think the movie Kids
Yeah.
is crazy? You
Yeah.
should see Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, it was nuts. It was crazy on that set. Like we were between the ages of 13 and 18, alone in a motel room in upstate New York for like 2 months. What do you?
Somebody has to know what the guy's name is. You had to sign some sort of release or something.
Yeah, but they
I'm sure
really
Shaq
have done a
does.
great job of locking that
yeah.
down, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of cool, especially in today's age.
I mean, I remember him very clearly. Like I remember seeing him. So.
Yeah.
It's my mind now. So it would be cool though. Wouldn't it be cool if I brought him to a convention?
Yeah.
And then I
That'd be a great
But
gift.
then okay, oh my God, I just remembered my dream last night, and I never remember my dream. I'm gonna tell you really quickly that I brought somebody else with me, like Danny Roebuck. It was Danny Roebuck in my dream. And I was like, Danny, just pretend you were the guy at the end of the movie.
No, we talked
Did we
about
talk
that last night.
I was just resting.
It's a
Oh,
dream.
it was really
No,
You-
last
you
night
should- you
in the
should have
front
been
of the
at the party.
hotel, we were with
No,
some other
it
friends.
went further because I did have a dream. That
I
in
know.
the dream, he signed a contract that said, did we talk about it?
Yeah. That was the.
I was wasted. Okay.
Let me pitch it.
She had a bottle of
We're out with
Jack
the, we're
I
out
had
with two filmmakers, and we said, hey, you kind of look like you could be the guy, and I said, and then we concocted an idea like, let's have him come out as if he is the guy, and it's really to pull
It's
out
to
the real
lure
guy.
the real guy in
Yeah.
and say, no, it's me.
Yeah, that guy's lying. It's me. I'm like, gotcha. Come on.
Okay, but in my dream, we wrote a whole letter, notarized.
Right,
and
that's
said,
what
I
they
know.
said. He goes, I don't want to get sued for
So I
lying.
didn't dream it.
Then none of it. Our friend said, "Oh, I don't want to get like liable that I
I
need
am
something else." So we said,
fucked
"Oh, we'll
Do
do
you
a
know where
contract
you
that you're
are?
doing this on purpose to bring the guy out."
Colorado Springs.
The dream.
I can vouch for this.
No.
I was there.
Isn't that cool?
You were there.
I just got a new
Right.
notebook.
She was there. She heard the woo. It wasn't a dream, right?
It was not a dream.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. You were hanging out.
The lines are blurred. story in this.
So after you helped ruin a poor teenage boy's life, yeah.
He was
so
18.
What was your story after that? Like, did you
I went back
pause it all?
to Catholic school in 8th grade, and all the girls were mean to me. They picked on me. They were like, "Let's throw gum in her hair and be mean," because they were like, "Oh, she's an actress." But I was like insecure and shy and like, "No, I just want to be your friend." Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an actor. Oh, that's stupid. But then I changed schools, and I didn't really want to act anymore. So I just kind of took a big break and went back to school, like high school, had a good time, and then I did go to college for acting.
Yeah.
And that's when I studied, and I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. I really love
You went to
performing.
Tisch, right?
I did.
Yeah,
go to Tisch,
that's
yeah.
NYU. It's a pretty good acting school. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was
congratulations
neat. I
on
went with
that.
Adam Sandler, so that was cool.
Oh.
Fuck the llamas.
I'm
I was
weird.
smoking pot,
Oh,
strumming some
gosh.
guitar.
I
with
was
Adam Sandler.
dyslexic. This is news to me because I thought you went to Tush.
I went to Tisch. Tisch
So-
School of the Arts, yeah.
How did you, Dave, end up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers? He did a couple of 2 or 3
that's
music
so
videos.
That was from Ghost World. I played
Oh.
Doug in Ghost World. Again,
Okay.
and go back to those short films I did at Second City. That was a character named Stuart, and then we were making Stuart into a feature film. The feature film fell apart, but Terry Zwigoff was a part of it, and my judge and stuff. And so when it fell apart, I was looking like the character, and Terry called me. He's like, "Well, we're shooting Ghost World. Just come back to LA, and we'll find a role for you." And then I did that role. We just made it all up, and then the Chili Peppers saw it, and then
Yeah.
he put me in those two things, and then Rob saw those. Rob Zombie,
Yeah.
he called me in. So
So you're
One
just a
thing is
lucky
trickles.
son of a bitch.
one thing leads to another.
Right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
But that's awesome.
So always do the job in front of you and do your best. And really
Do it well and don't piss people
Yeah.
off.
That's good.
Yeah, Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that kid's not even here.
Aw.
That's so wasted
He's
last night.
Jason Voorhees. Did you see
Oh, they
him?
couldn't be here today.
I
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah. He's
I
so
love
cool.
He's so cool.
He was.
Yeah.
He
I
was
sent
so,
Kane Hodder
Yeah.
a picture of him, and I said, "Kane, do you know who this person is?" And he said, "Probably." And I said, "It's Jason Voorhees," and he laughed my ass off. And I was like, "He did another film, but it had a lot of holes in it."
Oh.
He did not respond. He didn't
No. Maybe that was Jason Goes to Hell? Or, no, I'm sorry.
Oh!
No, by the way, I love the movie, and if you don't know, Arrow Video is putting out a 4K restoration later this
Yes.
year.
Go out.
So go out there and you can
And
pre-order
Jason
it.
X.
You can, yeah,
Woo!
yeah, you can pre-order, but yeah, that's right. They just made a big deal about Jason Goes to Hell. But anyway, we digress. You signed some really cool old Sleepaway Camp stuff that I have. Like I have the original VHS release. I have that First Aid Kit DVD release with the poor unfinished one and all that stuff. And then you got to come back and play Angela. Yeah. So what was that like revisiting?
Oh my gosh, it was exactly 20 years later, and it was 2003, and it was amazing. We had a lot of the cast, Paul D'Angelo, Ronnie. He was wearing red shorts like this, but they were hiked up in it.
Those were his real shots.
His bulge was like the whole movie. It was
Those
like,
were-
it was like, where should we put the camera? Oh, there's Paul's bulge right there.
Well, what you might not know about that film is everyone's wearing their real clothes. They brought the
Oh, yeah.
wardrobe.
Oh yeah, we were low budget. Everybody had to bring their own
Yeah,
wardrobe.
so all those shorts
So
and
those
stuff you
half
saw in the half
shirts.
shirts, that was they all
Yeah, they
owned
did.
that.
Oh, but they cut. The boys were
Yeah.
like, let's cut those shirts.
Because remember I saw Paul not too many years ago and he brought the shorts and they were like
Brought a
they
suit.
were like
Yes,
that.
I'm not
That
even.
was the
It couldn't
waist.
go up my arm.
I was like,
They
what?
were like this big. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
What? He's
Like
like,
a
I
big
could
shrink.
still fit into that.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
Okay, that's scary.
But that's one of the reasons I love Sleepaway Camp, or all the shorts and the crop
I'm
tops.
sure you
so,
do.
yeah.
It's the only 80s film that has like only like boys' butts and
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything's about the boys. They're like, screw the girls, let's go for a little rumble, boys. The whole movie's about all of them like huddling.
Let's go for a little tussle.
Yeah, I know.
So-
Look, it's got a lot of TNA in it.
Yeah,
Testicles and ass.
You do what you gotta do. So,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about Frank McCluskey, PI.
Oh, Frank.
Frank McCluskey, PI, came to America in 1462. He was, talk a little bit about Frank. What do you want to know about it?
Well, how did it come
Ross,
about? Was it another
loves
one of
it.
your
It's
characters?
Ross is one of the favorites.
Ross?
Ross is
Oh, really?
Little Ross.
I thought Mark was.
Because when I first met Ross, the first time at Chicago Days of the Dead, they were going to Dolly World. Dollywood.
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yep.
Yay.
And Dolly Parton plays my mom in Frank McCluskey's. I said, oh, Dolly Parton plays my mom in a movie. And they said, what is it? And then they went and watched it. And he's like, I love that movie.
Now, was that a character you also created at Second City? Or
No.
No.
That wasn't even the character that was supposed to be in the movie. It was supposed to be more like a Dirty Harry movie. And then
Oh.
Disney kind of like Disney-fied it a little bit. It was my first like dealing with shifting ideas a lot with
Yeah.
executives. I was like, but the producer was like, just say yes. Just say yes. We want the movie made. I go, okay. And he goes, we'll fix it later. And they never fixed it. And I was like, wait, it's not the same character.
So
it
you
wasn't the same-
started this movie and you ended with this movie.
Yeah. It's still a funny movie, but
Yeah.
it wasn't what the concept
It's a
was. It
great
was more
movie.
like, it was supposed to be more like Dirty Harry, like
Yeah.
the web, but like Naked Gun.
Yeah, oh,
Like,
yeah.
I was supposed to be more very
A
serious
straight man.
about insurance claims investigating, but going over the top, like
Yeah.
like Inspector Clouseau would. You know?
Wow. Oh,
But
wow.
but then they started going, well, why? And then they said, you're nervous, and I had a helmet all of a sudden, knee pads, and be friendlier. And I was like,
You're
okay, like this, no,
nervous.
even more. Hi, it was like all of a sudden I'm the Truman Show,
Yeah.
like, and it was, yeah. So the only thing they kept was like the Dirty Harry tweed jacket. Thing that I had, like, I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
But it's still a funny movie. There's a
Always
lot of-
say yes.
Great
Always
cast.
say yes.
Great cast.
Yeah, I didn't. I had even forgotten about Dolly Parton, but she's.
Yeah, and Randy Quaid's my dad.
Oh man.
How's that for parents?
Right. That's a good. Yeah. So this is I promise we'll move on from Sleepaway Camp. I promise. But what's your favorite kill in the movie?
I
Your
mean,
favorite death?
naturally, a curling iron.
Yeah. But even as a kid, I was like, that wouldn't kill her. She'd just be scarred. I was like,
It was in two places.
oh.
Yeah, remember it opened up, so it was a little shocker.
Oh. Well, there you go.
And I did punch her really good in the face. I was like,
Good.
that whore.
She
No.
deserved
So I do screenings with Sleepaway Camp, and I feel so badly because every time Judy's on screen, I'm like, she's a whore. And by the end of the movie, the entire audience is like, she's a whore! Like, I can't stop. And one time, a whole group of people made shirts that said Judy is a whore, and Karen Fields, who plays Judy, was at the convention,
Oh.
and they all come walking by, and she goes, what is this? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, that big ass ponytail.
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna get a couple of quick questions for the audience.
You guys know
I
Judy,
do.
right, from the movie?
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
That's the part I'm like, what is he talking about? He's like, Judy, and then you look at her,
And then
she's
she
got
turns
a B,
around.
she turns like an A-cup thing.
Yeah, but the 12-year-old boys are like, Judy!
I was gonna say we're like 13. Judy was like, wow! Holy cow!
So
Those A's are hot.
it's enough for a thimble. You're good.
It was
Yes.
good.
Yeah. So since then, other acting, you've both done writing, you've both done a little bit of producing, you've been doing a little more recently, right? And anything coming up that you want to talk about?
I
that you're
have a
working on?
show that I'm really proud of that is just a labor of love with my buddy Brett Wagner, and it's a YouTube show called Killin' Time Experience.
It's really good.
And it came out of like me just wanting to promote love and kindness from our beautiful community. And I feel like horror movies really gives us like so much emotion. Like we are a very deep group of people. We love the intellect and the roller coaster of these films. And I wanted to bring on horror actors and talk about how they really feel about things in life, and then bring them somewhere and have an experience, whether it's like a video store or a museum, or we're gonna go to the zoo. We brought him to a Chili's place.
I totally would have loved the zoo.
Anyhow,
I had a
it's
2-hour
fun.
drive.
I hope you check
It's a
it out
long drive
because
home.
it's
Chili.
supposed to promote like kindness and love and just like I feel like life goes too quickly, and I want all of us to take take a moment to live presently and really connect with each other and look at each other, not at our phones, and get out there and like experience life. So I hope you enjoy it.
And who's better to
From my
promote
heart.
love and kindness?
Aw.
This is totally off topic, but it's something I wanted to do. Officially today, I can say that I am cancer free. Something that came up last year, so a lot of things changed for me last year, and I'm not going to take away from all this, but I wanted to just say that. I just wanted to get it out.
Yeah.
So I can officially claim it now. Doesn't mean that it could, we're watching it, of course, but so it's just stuff. But
Yeah.
there's
He's not
a lot
talking
of
about real cancer, he was talking about his partner.
Oh, no.
Dump that motherfucker!
He's still here.
Yeah.
No. Right. So real quick, just because of time, and I'm sorry, but I want to get one or two audience questions. Anybody have a question for either one of them? Yes.
I was actually wondering, Felissa, I love you, by the way.
I love you too.
You're so
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, outside of Sleepaway Camp, was there any movie that really you felt like this was a labor of love and you really love it and you would recommend for us to
Great
see it?
question.
That is a film that I had.
Yeah, one of your 180. Did
I-
any one of them? Did you give a shit about any of them?
No. Okay. I loved Satan's Playground that I made with Ed Neal, who's the hitchhiker in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's my favorite movie. So it was a dream to work with him. And Ellen Sandweiss from Evil Dead, and that's a movie, and the only movie. And I'm gonna spoil it. I won't spoil it. It's a good movie. It's about the Jersey Devil, and I had so much fun making it. I was doing that movie while I was filming Return to Sleepaway Camp, so it was like I was going back and forth to the two sets. And I just loved Satan's Playground. And I made a movie with Dave called Cold-Blooded Killers, and I hated him when we made the movie, but I felt like we really got the point across that he was an asshole, and I was trying to kill him the whole movie because he was such a jerk. And but now I like.
I was always looking for the cameras the whole time. She goes, "We're shooting that movie. Don't worry about it. Get over here."
It's a really fun
Why are you at my
assassin
house?
film. It's an assassin movie, and it's called Cold-Blooded Killers, and he and I play these crazy killers, and it was so much fun. It was really good.
So she just brought up her favorite movie, Texas Chainsaw. What is your favorite movie, or at least one of them?
In the horror genre, you mean?
Any genre, any genre.
Well,
Sleepaway Camp.
I love Shining and I love Jaws. I consider them in the horror genre.
Yeah.
And then but if somebody goes, "What's your favorite horror movie that maybe people don't know about?" It's called Angst. It's a 1982
Oh, it's a
movie.
great movie.
It's a German movie. It's very good. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's
You know it.
yeah, and
Okay.
someone out there, I can't remember if it's Vincent or Severin or Arrow, but there's a great release out there. So seek it out. We have time for one more question. Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
Any crazy stories from Devil's Rejects with the crazy cast you guys had?
There's kind of some crazy stories. I'll try to do two really fast. One is, I have those yellow glasses, the yellers, right? And so that scene is the beginning of the movie. It really was our first day of shooting. We burned that house down and stuff like that. I'm behind the door and I'm
Crazy.
going to shoot. Kane Hodder was our stunt coordinator.
Because that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. and he had a paintball gun that had rock salt paintballs in there. So when you shoot it and it hits and it will spark. And he's like, "I want to get really close to your face because this is your close up. So I want to really hit the side of the door. Do you have any eye protection?" Well, actually, he talks like, "David, I want to get really close to your face. Do you have any eye protection?"
I love your
I was
kid.
like, "Okay." And I went back to my trailer and I got those yellow glasses. And then since it was the first day of shooting and he did the thing, it worked out fine. And then everyone was like, "Those are cool, those are cool." And I was like, "All right, I'll just keep them on for the character, So I do actually have to give Kane credit for giving me the kind of trademark glasses for the thing. And the other one is I started noticing with William Forsythe that he would never give me the last line of a scene. And so we're down in the Firefly basement, and we're collecting all that evidence. We found all the evidence of the Marx Brothers stuff and the pictures and stuff like that. And I said to Rob, I go, "William's never given me the last line." And I go, and he was like, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Let's fuck with him. And everything he says, I'll say something else. And then he'll say something else because he won't let me button the scene." And so Rob was like, "Yeah, and I'll just keep rolling." So I wish that was on the thing because it was just like, he's like, "Dobson, bag it and tag it, you know, and I go, this stuff? Yeah, that stuff. And then I wait a little bit and I go, you want all of it? You know, and he would come back, yes, all of it, you know. Even this, you know, yeah, like, and Rob was just spitting up, like, it was just like, he just couldn't, Bill just couldn't give me the last line.
I'm sorry, I just want you to quickly tell us about Rosario Dawson, who's like one of my favorite actresses.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
they cut
real
that scene, a lot
quick.
of people know
I
about
want you to
that.
tell the story. We have to say goodbye to
Oh,
Felissa.
I'm
I'm so
sorry.
sorry. So much. She's going next door to her photo op.
Some of these people might need to go get the photo op.
Yeah. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yay,
Please tell the story.
bye!
Hey, wait, what do you got? What the?
Tell
You're
the
wearing,
story about
I think that's a
Rosario
Camp Angela
Dawson.
shirt. Can I see, is that a Camp Angela shirt?
Can't Airwhack.
No, it's Camp Angela. Yeah,
Oh!
see? It is a Camp
Uh-oh.
Angela
Man,
shirt.
oh man!
Take that, Judy!
So we got this last story he's gonna tell, and then we're wrapping it up, okay?
What was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what she wanted me to say. Like,
Was it
she's in a deleted scene.
Oh.
That's- yeah.
Well, she said that was a great story, Dave. Thank you. Thank you.
I think some people have seen it, you know, the Dr. Satan deleted scene, right? Yeah. I don't know, like, what the story was. We always questioned why it got cut, you know.
Well, you
'cause
know
Rob
what?
always said, like, oh, Dr. Satan didn't fit. But I'm like, how do you cut Rosario Dawson? You know what I mean? And she's bloody,
She's so
and it's,
good.
yeah.
She's really good. Well, if she thinks of what it was, they'll be at their table for a little bit after this before they have
Yeah.
to go.
I don't know
So-
what the funny story was.
Well, we told other fun stories.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Felissa Rose. This is Dave Sheridan.
Thank you.
Glass.